fan in this room. Alright guys, my name is Tallest Silver, and as you can see, obviously I'm dressed up like Poison Ivy, and I wonder why. Oh, that's right, because it's the 25th anniversary Batman the Animated Series panel. And that makes me feel really old, since I grew up with Batman the Animated Series, and it's already almost 3 decades old. Okay, woo, that's a full person. Now, who grew up with Batman the Animated Series? Yeah. And watched it on Fox?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Good.
Yeah. And who now watches the DVDs of it? Yeah, still do? Okay, there we go. Well, today we have 2 special guests. We have Loren Lester. Come on out. He is the voice of Robin / Nightwing, so technically Dick Grayson. And we also have Diane Pershing. And she, of course, is the voice of Poison Ivy. So what we're going to do is I'm going to give them some questions at first. They're going to regale us with wonderful stories. And then we're going to have a Q&A with you, the audience. Okay? Sound good? You can be a little bit more interactive in that. There we go! All right, so Batman the Animated Series has been around since 1992. How did you guys get involved with it?
Me first?
Open question. Whoever wants to start.
Yeah, on, is this on yet? Hello, hello?
No. Yeah.
Hello? On September 5th, it's the 25th anniversary. So it's 25 years ago. And I got involved just like every other job I've ever had, and I was fortunate enough to have an audition. And then they liked me and brought me back with other guys and narrowed it down, and then brought me back and narrowed it down again for another audition. I don't know if I was the only person they were bringing back at that point, but that's not usually how it works in show business. I didn't see who else was up for it. And I got the job, so that's how I got involved.
And my story is one of those completely different ones. I was booked on the show, I think it was the about 7th or 8th show of the first season, to do a separate voice. And they were going to be introducing, the episode is Pretty Poison, and they were going to be introducing Poison Ivy on that show. And the actress who were supposed to play Poison Ivy, and to this day I still don't know who that was, didn't show up for whatever reason. Couldn't, was sick, was traveling, whatever it was. And Andrea Romano, who was the voice director, said to me, "Would you like to try out for this?" And I said, "Sure." And I looked at the script and I said, "Oh, sure, I can do that." You know, like we all do. And I read for it, and she said, "Okay, you got it." So that's my little serendipity story. And usually I got things via auditions, narrowing it down, etc. This one was one of those being in the right place at the right time.
And I never heard that story, so that was great.
I never heard this.
So you talk about going on auditions. What made you want to become voice actors to begin with? Because that's a lot different than being a TV actor or a film actor or even a stage actor.
Well, you have to remember 25 years ago, it was a different thing. Nowadays, you do have specifically people who identify themselves as voice actors, and they have a voice agent, and that's what they do voice work. Back then, if you were an actor, you did everything. You went wherever you could get work, and all of us who were certainly in the Batman the Animated Series were theater people, movie people, television people, and voice was just another way to use our acting skills. So it was completely different then.
And again, I have a different story. I was a theater actress, and I was a singer. And I started doing on-camera commercials. And I was in the office one day with my then agent, talking to my on-camera commercial people. And a man walked by, heard me talking, and said, "Have you ever thought of doing voiceovers?" And I said, "What's that?" And he said, "Come in and see me." And his name was Bob Lloyd, And he was a very, very influential person in the voiceover industry in LA. And I realized I already was I had done a lot of puppet voices and stuff like that. So the next day, I was sitting in his office, we were discussing it, and the phone rang, and I got the job that he was told about on the phone, and I have been going ever since. So it's one of those, again, I mean, I'm not a good speaker about plow ahead and really work hard, because almost everything that's happened for me has been this wonderful serendipity, what I call it. It's been pure luck and pure timing, and thank you, God, you know?
Wait, so Bob Lloyd was at your agency?
Yeah, he was the voice person for the Ann Wright agency then.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Another story I never heard. I've got to come to more of these panels.
We can just hang out all day if you want.
Fantastic.
So both of you are actually iconic in your roles because, Loren, you brought to life Nightwing, which had never been done before. We see Robin in the 1960s Batman show, but never when he grows up as Nightwing. And Diane, you brought Poison Ivy to life. She had never been in anything but the comics. How do you feel being these icons that this is just the pinnacle of the character, everything else is somebody else's interpretation? You guys were first.
Well, for me, it's always humbling and flattering because people say when they read the comic books and it's Nightwing or if it's Robin, Dick Grayson, they hear my voice, and that makes me feel wonderful. And you know, it's not very often in this world you get to be the first of something. So no matter what happens, I will always be the first Nightwing, and that means a lot to me. I can always carry that badge around.
What he says, I'm the first Poison Ivy voice. I created the sound that she was famous for. I did it for 7 years. And then they started casting the people that were stars in the thing. And you know, that's the nature of business. But I was the first, and apparently I'm quite appreciated, I have found out, for that. And I'm so glad, so very, very grateful to have been given that chance. I really am.
And you know, they have done different iterations of the Batman story in the Batman universe, and sometimes Dick Grayson is involved in either as Robin or as Nightwing. And they always say, because when I hear about the new show, I'll call my agent, and they'll say, no, they really want to do something different this time. And they always wind up having to cast Kevin Conroy because there's nobody else who is Batman in the world. So, you know, they have to really stop and realize what a magical thing that was created 25 years ago, and they should, they have, I mean, I think they have this year because that movie's come out, Batman and Harley Quinn, hopefully one of many, and maybe another TV series again, let's hope.
Nicely said. Speaking of the show, is there any episode that you particularly enjoyed working on? Or something that sticks out into your mind of, oh yeah, that was a good day when I came in?
For me, it's very easy. Sub-Zero was a wonderful experience. Great script. Robin finally got to do a lot as being Batman's partner. And then the episode Old Wounds, because I got to play Robin and Nightwing in the same episode. And I got to punch Batman, so we got it all there.
I have two. The first time that I meet Harley Quinn, it's called Harley and Ivy. I love it because I love the script, and I love how Ivy is the classic woman who allows men to step all over her, and all she does is try to please her man, and she has no real self. And Poison Ivy will not stand for that and keeps giving her lessons on how to be her own woman. And there's lots of good sarcastic banter back and forth, so it's really fun. The other one, for me personally, was, is it House and Garden, I think, near? Yeah. Where Poison Ivy basically creates a real family with real children and a real husband and a beautiful home. And she really believes that this is the truth now and she's reformed. Even Batman thinks she's reformed until it turns out they've all basically been created by plants. And it's very sad. And I got a lot of real good acting stuff in that one. You know, lots of colors, lots of different feelings and emotions. It was a real favorite.
That's also one of my favorite episodes. I was actually watching it the other day of how nuanced Ivy was and saying, no, I am rehabilitated. This is my family now, something I've always wanted. Just kidding, they're plant people going to destroy everything. But it's just incredible that you brought so much nuance to a character that a lot of writers will just go, oh no, she's a femme fatale with plants. But there's more to that. Have you ever felt like you identified with part of your character? Like a portion of, oh yeah, I can totally tumble around in the spandex and
Yeah, no, I actually, what I identified with Poison Ivy was how strong she was as a woman. I'm from the generation that called ourselves feminists, and I am a feminist, and that's how I feel. I feel very strongly on the rights of women and all that stuff, you know. You can still be a girl and still feel that way. And so that was definitely her. And plus, we all have a little bit of an evil streak in us, don't we? Don't we? And if you're not admitting it, I'm sorry. Anyway, yeah, that was fun. Also, she got to be sexy, because she got to talk with this kind of voice, right? Yeah. And she used it a lot, and that was fun, because I'm not really that way in real life. I'm just kind of a normal person, you know?
What I identified with absolutely, and I mean, at the time I didn't even realize it, but looking back on it, was I was a very young actor, and I was ambitious, and felt I wasn't being taken seriously, just as all young actors do, who don't become stars overnight. And so looking back, it's like, wow, that's really what Dick Grayson was all about. He really didn't feel he was taken seriously, and he was ambitious, and he wanted to be Batman, and he does. He becomes Batman, as we know.
He does. And you both also work on different projects as well. And Diane, you are a novelist.
Oh.
And not just any novelist, you're a romance novelist. And I have to say, the fact that Harlequin Publishing published some of your romance novels kind of has a special place in my heart.
Well, I really, when you do voices mostly, because my career evolved into mostly doing voiceovers, excuse me, and the audition process is that, and often the session that you're doing is 15 minutes, 20 minutes. You have lots of time. And I decided to write in my spare time, and I had a lot of spare time in between auditions and jobs. So I wrote romance novels, and I had the best time doing it, which is a surprise because I'd never read one until my late 30s, and all of a sudden I got hooked. So it was really fun.
How many did you do again?
I wrote 19 novels, and mostly for Harlequin. I stopped wanting to write them about 2003. It left. And I went on to other writing. I love to write. So yeah, it's been a fun one.
Well, in the nature of our business, a lot of times people say, have you pushed to get into this film, or pushed to get into that film, or pushed to get into this role? We don't really have any power or any say, and we are usually the last to know when somebody is like seeking us and wanting us to be in something. So our careers go in all sorts of directions and like this, and for whatever reason, I rarely do voiceover now. It's very, very rare, but I do a lot of on-camera television and on-camera film and theater. And so people say, did you make a choice to do that? No, it's just the way it happened. So, like for example, this fall we were talking about, I'm in Seth MacFarlane's new series, The Orville, which is going to be fantastic. We saw most of the pilot down at San Diego Comic-Con, and it is going to be, you are a Trekkie, you're going to love it. If you love humor, you're going to love it. If you love Seth MacFarlane, you're going to love it. So it's going to be a great show.
And speaking of other movies and voiceover stuff that you've done, you recently reprised your role as Nightwing for Harley Quinn and Batman. Did they approach you to be Nightwing again?
Yes, clearly.
Well, you could have auditioned on.
No. I draw the line there. No, it was just out of the blue and a total wonderful surprise. Got a call and they said, can we send you the script? They sent the script, and the script was wonderful. It's very funny. How many people have seen it? Yeah, it's very, very funny for those of you who haven't seen it. And I said, yeah, I want to do this. And the next thing I knew, I was Nightwing again.
I like his haircut, by the way.
Yes, mullet is gone. Mullet is gone.
I think they make a comment about that in the movie too. How we have the
They do.
haircut.
Yeah, they had a good joke about that.
Yeah. Well, excellent. I think now we should bring it out to the fans. If you have a question for Diane or Loren, please come on.
I grew up on the show, and we hear a lot about the people that were involved behind the scenes, and I know you guys work very close with Andrea Romano, and I'm wondering if you could tell us a little bit about what it was like working with her, and kind of just let folks know how important she was to the whole series, because everybody looks at writers and things like that, but I mean, she was really the voice of the show. So you can tell us a little something about working with her.
Andrea is a gift to all voice actors. She's just recently retired. Yeah. First of all, this particular show had brilliant writers, brilliant animators, and an amazing cast. Without superb voice direction, you would not have enjoyed it as much as all of you did. Andrea got every nuance of every character right there for you, had the exact word that would get the exact thing she wanted from you right away. She kept things moving. None of this, no sloth stuff, She was really a wonderful, gifted, and a wonderful woman too. A lovely human being.
She loves actors, and for actors, when you work with a director who loves actors, that brings out the best performance. And she made it very clear in all the shows, she was so happy to have us there and so happy to be working with us, and we reciprocated and felt the same way.
When you guys were recording with her, did you ever get to record with any other actors, like Arlene Sorkin or Kevin Conroy together in the booth?
See, this is a thing that's gone away. It's so sad, because now when we record, we're usually by ourselves. Back then, everybody was there. Everybody was there.
At every session.
At every session, including a lot of people who had busy film and TV careers, but they were there. So it was like doing a radio play, or like in some ways doing a stage play, and we could play off of each other, and that was and it was so exciting. I would geek out every time I go, because I never know who would be there from the world of film and TV. I'd be like, oh wow, I get to work with so-and-so today,
And I got to stand here, and on my right was Mark Hamill doing the Joker. And on my left was Efrem Zimbalist Jr. doing Alfred. And then there were all of these amazing guest actors that came on, and it's like, oh, hi, hello, I said, dying inside. And the ensemble, to look at each other when you're acting, to use your whole body when you're when you're looking at the script, looking at the words, to look at one and say what you need to say to her. As long as you keep your mouth to the mic, you can do whatever you want. There is nothing that matches it, and you can tell in this show that we were an ensemble. And I don't care what they say, there's no way voices working alone can achieve that kind of wonderful spontaneity.
Well said, absolutely. So a lot of good acting teachers will tell you that you don't act, you react. And you can't really do that with listen. Yeah, and especially with voice too.
Hello, I have a question. If you had been asked to choose another character from the show to voice, what character would it have been and why? I guess I'll take your
No.
Well, I just, I think everybody was perfectly cast. So, I mean, truly, I think they, well, for fun, I would like to play Batman one day, not Kevin's role, but when Nightwing becomes, like in the Nightfall series, when he becomes Batman. So, I guess in essence, I would like to play Batman, but the Dick Grayson Batman.
And I would have done Holly. I love Arlene. She's a friend of mine. She hasn't been able to come to these things, but she's got that voice. That's how she talks. That's how she talks. This is how she talks. And I used to make fun of her because it was fun. But I loved how she did. And I loved playing the straight man to her. So no, I was so happy with what I had. I didn't want anything else. How's that for a very good diplomatic answer?
Were you and Arlene friends before the show, or you became friends on the show?
Are you guys
I
still
learned something
friends?
else.
What?
Are you still friends?
Oh, yes.
Oh, it makes me so happy.
In fact, we're gonna write a couple of things together because she's also a writer. So we're having fun. We're planning stuff. It's cool.
Hi, that was piggyback on her question. That was my question. I was going to ask, like, can you do your version of Diane? You do your version of it. It's already done, but I got to think of another one. I was going to ask, maybe if you can do like a little quick dialogue between Robin and Poison Ivy, like a quick dialogue, maybe an excerpt from your novel kind of thing. I don't know. Acting, reacting kind of thing. You said, I don't know. No, okay.
No, but the thing was that when I was on the show and I was Poison Ivy, he was a little young for me. I mean, I don't rob the cradle, you know? I don't go with too young a man. So, I'm sorry, there would have been no dialogue between us, would there, Robin?
All I know is that after meeting you, I need calamine lotion.
That was wonderful. Thank you.
So,
It's okay. Don't be scared.
He's so cute.
Hello, the both of you. So, you guys ever get the chance to meet the creators of Batman, Bob Kane and Bill Finger, all on the set?
Did you? No.
Oh, that's very sad.
That was it? Okay.
Next question.
Hi, I got two quick questions. The first one is, do you think Nightwing will ever get his own series?
Please go.
Yes.
And another thing, you touched on this earlier about the writing on the show, because before this series started, kids' shows were fluff, and this one touched on some very adult issues. Could you just talk about that?
Yeah, well, from the very beginning, they made it clear, because it came piggybacking off of the first Batman movie. So when they made the series, they said they wanted, this is Bruce Timm in particular, wanted to make a show that was cinematic, not cartoon, but like a film. So the music and the writing and the acting is all very, like you'd see a very good movie. So that made the show totally different, and that's why it was very special.
Also, the opening credits, very dark, very dark. No fluff at all. And so much of the show is pretty dark.
Literally.
You know, yeah, there's that too. The animation was kind of Germanic darkness, you know, and it was a groundbreaker, this show. It really was. It was a noble experiment, and by God, it worked, you know. It was great.
How did you guys feel when the animation style changed over from Batman the Animated Series to the New Adventures of Batman and Robin / Adventures of Batman and Superman? Suddenly your characters looked different.
I didn't do those, so I'll have Loren, I was gone by then.
Well, they didn't tell us, you know, when we started recording it, that it was going to look different or have a different look. Certainly the feel of the show was the same feel. So all I knew is that I had now graduated to Nightwing. And I'll tell my favorite Nightwing story, which is Andrea called me up after the Batman the Animated Series had ended, and she said, first of all, she called me at my house. That never happens. And I said, what is it? She said, well, I have some good news and some bad news. The bad news is you're not going to be playing Robin anymore. She said, the good news is now you're going to be Nightwing. So I knew that I was going to now play Nightwing. I was very excited about that. But as far as the look of the show, didn't know that until later when we saw it.
Yeah, we don't have,
We have nothing to do with what it looks like. We do our scripts, we record them, and they animate to the script. So we don't even know about all that stuff that goes on later. Except that when we care, we ask and we find out.
When you got the roles, were you able to look at a character design or anything like that to kind of get the feel of how they should sound?
Yeah, they always have a drawing when you audition for an animated character. They always have a drawing, and I can't honestly remember how detailed the description was, but some of these shows, they have like 3-page descriptions.
Yes.
Right? They just go on and on and on. When he was born, this happened, and then the characters, it's that stupid character of some kind, but you're supposed to get the whole backstory, the life of the person, everything. So we kind of have to put up with that because they take it very seriously, the people who create the roles, that's great, but usually there's very long character descriptions.
And those that write the very long character descriptions are secretly people that want to be doing it themselves and or directing you, and they want you to know how very nuanced they are in their thinking. Bless their hearts. Mostly you can, with animation, you look at the character, you know exactly what you're supposed to do. And that's how it was with Poison Ivy. First of all, the fact that she was Dr. PhD, Pamela Isley, meant that she was brilliant. Then you look at that picture, she looks like Tinkerbell on hormones, you know, and you look at the picture and you go, okay, uses sex to get attention and to get them. Sexy and intelligent. Got it. Done.
Mic drop.
Mic drop. Are there any stories that have been in the comics that you would want to be animated so that you could voice in it?
Yeah, as I said earlier, the Nightfall series.
Yeah.
And then there's one other series where, what's the other one? You don't remember? Okay. There's one other one, but anyway, definitely the Nightfall.
No comment, I've never read any of the comics.
There's a really good...
You're brave to say that. Wow.
There's a mini graphic novel called Poison Ivy, Life and Death. And she actually leaves Gotham City and becomes like a goddess in this South American country, and she's worshipped and like...
I gotta get that.
You gotta get that one, that's a good one. And I can totally see you voicing. That's what I hear when I read it, is you. And then, of course, things don't go as well as they should, and she has to go back to Gotham and
They never do.
be Ivy. What else? Does anybody else have any questions?
No more questions?
'Cause we still have... Come on.
Here's one, come on up.
Hello, I got a question for you, Diane. What do you think of Uma Thurman as Poison Ivy?
In the movie?
Yeah.
I thought she was terrific. I mean, you know, the bottom line is you can never say this one is as good as that one, because we're all different actors and we all bring our own skill set to each thing. But I love Uma Thurman. I think she's fabulous. So what's not to like, you know?
Loren, do you think Chris O'Donnell could have been transitioned from from Robin to Nightwing if his spin-off did get made if Batman and Robin wasn't a failure?
No.
And is there any actor you approve to play Nightwing in an upcoming movie about him?
No. No, I'm actually looking forward to there being a live-action Nightwing because, you know, if lightning strikes again, the way it did with the Batman series, the first movie was a huge success, and so that spawned a series, so maybe a Nightwing film would spawn a Nightwing series, and I'm available.
And people do talk about the fact that they say, they asked you to come back, and I say no. And I think, well, maybe I'll just let them know I'm still alive. Wouldn't that be a nice little thing to do? Okay, we'll see, you never know.
We should have a fan outpouring of love and be like, no, 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 keep casting them, keep casting them.
Well, just to tell you a story about the fickleness of show business, I was doing a video game, an interactive game, and I assumed that when I was going to go in, I was going to be playing the role of Nightwing. And they said, no, you're not, you're playing Kurt Langstrom and Man-Bat. And I said, oh, well, that's it. I'm excited about that. I said, but, you know, I thought for sure, because, you know, I originated the voice of Nightwing, and the person who was casting it said, you did? So, that's just the way it works in show business.
I'm at a loss for words, if you did.
So was I. I was at a loss for words.
You're working
Happens
on a
all the time.
Batman thing,
It
you would
happens all the
think you would know these kinds of things. Anybody else? Any questions? Yeah,
Yes.
come on up. Don't be shy, guys. If you have a question, go ahead and line up.
I want to know if you're able to do like all hundreds of voices like other voice actors like Maurice Marsh.
You mean hundreds of other roles like Maurice LaMarche? No.
Character.
There's nobody like Maurice LaMarche. So there's some people in our business who are just phenoms like that. Maurice LaMarche, my favorite, Jim Cummings. You know who Jim Cummings is? Yeah. He's like voice guy. So these people who can do these multiple voices, and I mean Jim Cummings was Winnie the Pooh, and Tigger was Paul Winchell, and Paul Winchell passed away, and he just took over that voice, and it was completely different from the Winnie the Pooh voice. He talks to himself and that. So there's no people like that. I'm just in awe of.
Yeah.
Most of my work has been narrating, documentaries, a lot of commercials. I was a promo announcer on CBS for years. Most of it's been straight Diane voice, pretty much. And when I've done cartoons, and I have some gifts with some little, like I can do that kind of stuff. But I'm minor compared to the brilliant people that I know that are just, they blow me away with their gift. So we make our living, all of us, in different ways, and it's all a joy. We are very blessed.
Have you ever considered, Diane, doing an audiobook of one of your own books?
No, actually, I didn't even think about that when I was writing them, which is so silly of me, isn't it?
There's still time.
No, I might.
Did they do audiobooks?
Yeah. There's audiobooks, but they pay people pittance to do it. And, but also, I'm going to do some more of that work. I'm updating my website. I'm going to put my books online. I'm going to put all this stuff about the Comic-Cons online. It's going to be really fun stuff. Yeah, baby, go for it.
Audiobook work is the hardest work I've ever done. It is so difficult.
Ugh.
It's hours and hours, and as Diane was saying, really, they don't pay you a lot to do it, but it is very, very hard work.
What books have you done for audiobook?
I did a number of actually nonfiction books. One which was a fascinating one is about the history of In-N-Out Burger. And
I'm listening.
It's a fascinating story because it's kind of a wacky family, that own this, and it's not publicly owned, it's privately owned. So like one person, their parents died, and now their daughter owns all those In-N-Out burgers and doesn't have to share any of that profit with anybody, with the stockholders or a board or anything like that. That's like a fortune, and it's kooky. It's pretty kooky, but that was a great book to read. It was a lot of work.
Okay.
Maybe you should read her book and Nightwing.
Sure.
What?
I could read one of your books as Nightwing.
Certainly. Especially the sex parts. That'd be good. That'd be just great.
It wasn't I who ripped your bodice. Is that one of those scenes? What's the line from one of your books?
Never mind.
Where can we find us on social media? Well, a person I know named Mary Lemus is creating my Diane Pershing fan page, aren't you, as we speak? Yay! Okay, good. I am Diane Pershing on Facebook. If you want to send me a question or anything like that. If you want to friend me, possible, maybe not. I usually only friend people who know other people that I know, so I know that you're not some sort of kook. What the hell. And then I do Twitter, but I'm just learning how. I tweet. What?
What's your Twitter handle?
Am I supposed to know this?
Is it at Diane Pershing?
It probably is. Yes. My son has to do all this stuff, because what do I know?
.com, that's my email. And I have a fan page website, and also you can follow me on Facebook and Twitter, ActorLL.
Do your children ever get, or do they ever get excited that, oh, dad's Robin or mom's Poison Ivy, or did they just, oh, they're weird?
Well,
best
I just
children?
had the best time. I had 3 daughters, and I took 2 of my daughters to San Diego Comic-Con. They had never been to a con, so that's like real shock, 100,000 people. But we saw the premiere of Batman and Harley Quinn there, and there was 1,000 people in the audience. So they were just like so thrilled and so proud, and it was wonderful to be able to share that with them. When they were little, they didn't really care because actually girls were not really that into the show in the original run of it. Later on, we got a wonderful young female audience, and I think maybe there might be even more female fans. But at the time, no, it was kind of a boy show, and they were growing up, and they were into musical theater and stuff. I suppose if Batman and Robin did a musical number, they would have watched that.
I want to tell a wonderful story. My kids are very blasé because I've grown up with a mother who was always, this is my business, so it's not that big a deal. But my granddaughter, who was 4.5 at the time, we put on one of the Poison Ivy episodes of Batman on the television, and she watched, and she said, "Grandma, she's not very nice, is she?" And I said, "No, she's not," and it was so much fun to play her.
Hi, do you ever become possessive of the characters after a while where you want to tell the writers what you think the character should be doing or saying?
Never, because the shows are so well written. And I get that question a lot frequently. People say, did you ever have to say, oh, I don't think Robin would say that? Or, never happened, not even once. Now, on other shows, absolutely, and sometimes you have to do it out of self-preservation because you're asked to say really stupid things. Never happened on this show.
Never. This is, like, I'm telling you, this is the best written show I've ever worked on, and I have been doing this career for over 40 years. So this is the best written show. And a lot of actors are trained to improv. You don't improv with this, maybe once in a while, but you didn't improv with this because you didn't need to. They had thought of everything already. They had thought of all the clever asides that you could come up with, Great stuff.
So are you guys doing a signing today and tomorrow?
Why, now that you mention that, are you?
Yes.
Loren and I are both up on the boondocks. What is there up there?
The upper level?
Yeah, the upper level. It's also, yeah. I'm sorry. It's up. Maurice LaMarche is there. Alan Oppenheimer is there with us, and Loren and I. And we'll be back because we have to do a photo op.
I was about to say, are you also doing photo op sessions?
Yes. We're doing that, but we'll be back signing from 3 to 5 today. So please come up and visit,
Actually,
get a picture.
The photo op is at 3, right?
Isn't it a 2? Oh.
No, the photo op is at 3, and then we're starting our signing in at 3:30.
Oh, okay.
All right, there we go. Photo ops at 3, which is in like 15 minutes or so.
Yeah.
Something like that. All right. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
No, photo ops at 3:45.
Oh.
They'll be signing it from 3 to 5. Just come by the table.
Until we have to leave for our photo op.
He knows all the
The
info.
photo op only takes 5 minutes. It's not a big deal. We just rush down the hall and do the thing and come back, so.
Resounding clap.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you.